Yes, Dilshan Pathrana, he's bowling his second over. So the Sri Lankans obviously want to get rid of the what they probably feel are the two slightly weaker bowlers. Get rid of them, and then they have the other bowlers to bowl the rest of the overs, 12 overs thereafter. And here's Dilshan Pathrana with a much better delivery. Good fielding also.
I think Tishendra just might have knocked the stumps in excitement. Have a look here. It looked like, had it been a direct hit, it would have done the business, but look at that. Oh, just short, just a little bit wide. A direct hit would have done him. So Fitzgerald, Australia have crawled back. They've done well, irrespective of all the pressure. They're up to 15, and that's pretty much the requirement. They'll be happy with this, Ranu.
Yes, it's even Stevens, I would say. The Sri Lankans have done extremely well, and the thing is, they wouldn't want the Australians to go off in a canter in the first 4 overs. They've managed to stop that, so they're off to a good start.
Very much so, and Dilshan bowling to his field, if you can say that. He was expected, he bowls his little off-cutters, had a little bit more pace and quite flat, and he's done well. But Australia up to 16, they've got back, irrespective, they've just got back without our knowledge really. They've just got up to 16, and everybody was concentrating on the game. Oh, close, but not close enough.
Yes, indeed, and Mills, look at him, he dashes to the other end, head down, and then grounds his bat, and had the fielder caught the ball, it would have been pretty close. But they've got through 17 now, the 4th and final over for this batting pair. Good shot, over pitched on the leg side, and hit with a lot of power. 2 more takes the Australians on to 19.
There you go, regulation performance from the Aussies. Fitzgerald and Mills, very good in terms of communication, apart from the early errors. They've got back, they've brought their team back. Sri Lanka now need to keep the screws on and up the level of pressure if they can possibly do that. You can see Mills saying, come on mate, just bat out, don't give your wicket away. And that's the best advice he can get to Fitzgerald. The team management are very clear about what they are supposed to do out here. 20 is an excellent score for the first team when you consider the early pressure Sri Lanka put on them. This is what the Australians are so good at, just coming back.
Yes, good recovery in the last few deliveries from the Australian batsmen, and they've moved on to 22 after 4 overs. We'll go in for a commercial break now.
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට මේ තරම් විශාල ඉලක්කයක් හඹා යන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා දැන් සැකයි. තවත් කඩොල්ලක්. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට හරීම අසීරු තත්ත්වයකට පසුවන්නේ බලමු 4 වෙනි පිටකරුවත් ඉන්නිංග් තේරා ගනීවිද කියලා. දැවී ගියා. දැන් ඉතින් හාස්කමක්වත් සිද්ධ වෙන්න දෙන්නේ.
අලුත් අලියා ලෙමනේඩ් පැහැදිලි බෝතලයක පැහැදිලි බීමක්. වෙනස පැහැදිලිනේ.
කොහොමද පුහුණුව?
විශිෂ්ටයි සර්.
හා?
විශිෂ්ටයි සර්.
හිදුම්.
විශිෂ්ටයි සර්.
හා?
විශිෂ්ටයි සර්.
කොහොමද කෑම?
අති විශිෂ්ටයි සර්.
විශිෂ්ට බලකාය ඔබ වෙත ගෙනාවේ අති විශිෂ්ට රසයෙන් යුත් සුදු පැකට්ටුවේ මංචි ලෙමන් පෆ්.
කෝක් බඩි ශීතකල මිල රුපියල් 15යි.
කූල් නම් කොකා කෝලා.
එන්න සර් එන්න. මොකද්ද කේස් එක?
සර් නීති දන්නේ කොච්චර හිටියත් අපි අල්ලන්නේ හොඳ පළපුරුදු කෙනෙක්. කොච්චර ඔයිල් ආවත් ඩීසල් එන්ජිමට අපි දාන්නේ ලංකා සුපර් ඩීඑස්.
ලංකා සුපර් ඩීඑස් වැඩ ගැනයි විශ්වාසය.
කෑම කොහෙද? HEB එතන. හඳුන්වා දෙන අලයා ජින්ජර් බියර් මිලිලීටර 250 ස්නැක් සයිස් බෝතලය. HEB දැන් ස්නැක් සයිස් බෝතලයකත්.
Bounce just in front, and Asela Patirana asking for the catch. So Dusendra Soisa continuing to bowl round the wicket. He does that very well, angling it into the left hander. They go through with the run and they just manage to scramble it.
Very good bowling and well done by the Aussie batter to keep it out. Very well done by Scott Johnson, the skipper, experienced Indo cricketer. And Tushendra, good line, good pace, but that one is a little bit too wide down the off stump. And the Aussies get 5 off that first over.
Yes, that's the end of over number 5. Jay Otto and the captain Scott Johnson, the new pair. And the Sri Lankans out in full support. That's the ladies team. They couldn't qualify for a finals berth, but they finished 4th. Lost their match yesterday to New Zealand. And of course today, the Australian women were very good. They outplayed the South Africans, so they are the women's champions. Now it's the contest for the 2004 Indoor World Cup Championship between Sri Lanka and Australia. Australia batting first, 27 after 5, and the excitement is tremendous here at the Australia Indoor Cricket Stadium.
It is unbelievable. You can cut it with a knife, really. The atmosphere is brilliant. And here's Eroshan. Good reaction almost to the stumps down again. And Scott Johnson reacting equally quickly. Brilliant indoor cricket here. Look at this. Such commitment. He's just taken off, but just unable to collect cleanly. Third ball requirement. Regulation turn down the leg side. Erosion straying down there, giving the Scott Johnson a chance to just turn the ball and get the scramble across. So Australia now just clinical, getting 1 by 1, 2s and 1s and getting up there. They're 29 already, and we're in over number 6. So the batsmen on top now.
Well, one thing's for sure, this pair is not really rushing their runs. They're concentrating, their calling has been good because they don't want to get into those -5 situations. They've taken the score from 22 to 28, so they want to just build a couple of runs at a time, keep the scoreboard ticking.
Oh, unbelievable! What did he do? He just played round that, and a fabulous ball, brilliant stuff, well bowled. Have a look at this, Erosion, good angle. Boom! All 3 down. Best sight in cricket. You can't get better than that. There he is. He's doing his Airbus impression. Come on, says Erosion. Come on, says Sri Lanka.
Round the wicket comes Eroshan on the leg side. That's well put away for 2 more. That takes the score to 25. So Sri Lanka clawing their way back again. They know that every time they push the Aussies back -5, there's tremendous pressure on the batsmen, and they certainly have kept the pressure on right through all the overs so far.
Much to the delight of the Sri Lankan crowd, all the viewers at home, the whole of Sri Lanka, and especially the team here and Craig Slocum, they have kept the pressure on. They've been working on the percentages. They work ball by ball. They've done exactly what the doctors ordered. For Sri Lanka, playing to script. Can they keep it on? Can they keep it going?
Yes, another good delivery. Very impressive, the Sri Lankan bowlers. Not straying at all. Their discipline in line and length has been perfect. Hardly anything that's gone down leg side or too far outside off stump. A lot of concentration, a lot of focus. Here's Hiroshan.
Yes, there's the umpire. Brilliant stuff. I'll tell you, Ranil, this is Sri Lanka at its unbelievable best.
Yes, he didn't panic. Again, took his time, and there comes the return on the stumps. And the batsman trying to ground his bat, unable to get there. That's J. Otto. So it's the first time this pair has faltered, and Otto should be disappointed because they've been going quite well, slow but steady. 21 the total score, 22 was the score got by the first pair. They were dismissed 3 times.
And Scott Johnson, the captain for Australia, and J. Otto, very experienced, tons of experience, but I don't think they quite anticipated how much the Sri Lankans would come out and do. They pretty much thought, okay, we've beaten in the prelims, but like I said before, nothing of that counts. It's what happens now. How much pressure will Arcela bring to the game? Good ball, well bowled, but equally well batted by J. Otto.
Arcela Patrana bowls fastish off cutters, and that was the first delivery ball by him. Not a great deal of pace, but still he's accurate. That's Sanjeeva Jayaratne, who will come into action with the ball soon. And now he gets into action with that brilliant piece of fielding, and J. Otto had to really throw himself to get back to ground.
That's it. These boys, they're like phenomenal Olympic handball players, getting up there and whacking the ball down so quickly, so coordinated, so wonderful to watch, really brilliant stuff. And with these cameras, you can't miss anything. Regulation shot, well played by the Australians. These boys are good, eh? They're just not going to let it go. So Sri Lanka really has to keep building on this. They've got to keep the percentages. They've got to work hard. They've got to intimidate the Australians to make mistakes. They've got to keep the pressure. It's pressure, pressure, pressure. You can't mention that word enough.
Scott Johnson getting bat on ball and taking off. The 7th over in progress. The first Australian pair put on 22 in 4 overs. So not too much progress for this pair. And J. Otto is on strike.
Good pressure, good pressure. Sorry, Ranil. No, you can't really compliment the Sri Lankan team for what they're doing right now. You can't compliment them enough. That is what I meant to say. You know, because they really are coordinating their effort. They are on fire. They're totally committed. Well, it's a World Cup, and I'm so impressed with their effort so far. Let's hope they can keep their engine on.
Well, they missed out. They missed out at the striker's end, but they got the run out at the non-striker's end. Brilliant piece of fielding again. Misunderstanding between the 2 batsmen, and here comes the throw, and there's Dusendra doing the rest of it, and Sri Lanka have again got another breakthrough.
Clinical efficiency from the Sri Lankans as the flags go up. In fact, all the flags are dancing themselves. Brilliant sight. And the ask from the umpire, and the referee says, well, the umpire says, yes, that is out. There was a huge scramble. Look at this scramble at that end. He plays it into the deck, takes off, he has a look, then he stops. Mills, his partner is down that end, Scott Johnson, the skipper. Dilshan picks it up and has the presence of mind and the calm ability. Well composed himself and threw down the other side. J. Otto short, Sri Lanka in business.
22, here's Patela. And that's down the leg side, so a rare mistake made by the Sri Lankans. Gives 2 runs to Australia and they advance to 24. And they've got to fight every inch of their way. The Sri Lankans very accurate. As I said, a rare ball down leg side.
That's it. I think the Sri Lankan team chat would have been, just get out there, boys, and do your best. We've got nothing to lose. We've come all the way. We've just got one more game, and that's what we just need to negotiate. And they're doing exactly that. They're just playing out of their skins. They're doing so well. Look at Tharindu. He's made that his calling card now. The jump and the turn all at once. It's phenomenal to watch. It's brilliant to be here, witnessing the Sri Lankan team going through the process, and so far starting to outplay the Australians, and that is a phenomenal achievement. But it is early days yet, so let's not all jump up too far. Let's concentrate on what we have to do. Sri Lanka have to.
So Tharindu Mendis will be the bowler, and the man who's on the picture concentrating is the wicketkeeper Dilshan Pathirana. Tharindu Mendis with the first delivery of his first over.
Excellent ball runner.
Great start for him. He's got a high arm action. He's a very tall player. And he's delivered that superbly, beating the left-hand batsman. Just a little movement outside the off stump, and Scott Johnson beaten for pace. Now he comes round the wicket.
Well, yes, Tharindu is an excellent cricketer. Very agile, very sharp, great reaction time, and a great contributor. It's the work rate of these Sri Lankans that is so impressive, Ranil. They really have doubled and tripled up on their work, and that's something that will really make the difference in the end.
Yes, this game's being played at a hectic pace. The Sri Lankans maintaining it. Perspiration on the face of Asela Pathirana, but they all look good, they all look fit, and they all look well composed.
Slower ball, great reaction. Unfortunate for Sri Lanka, very fortunate for Australia. Scott Johnson just getting home, look at that. Ball's being collected now. Oh, had he hit direct, he was well short.
Yes, great effort from Roshan De Silva. Again, the Sri Lankans putting the Australians under tremendous pressure when they are pushing for runs. Now the Australians have gone past 30, they're on 31.
Jay, he's still over the wicket.
All right, so the umpire just checking, and Tharindu saying, yes, I'm still over the wicket. Next side ball, says the umpire.
Yes, good ball, just outside leg stump, but the batsman's foot was in the way. He got it on his leg, which meant there was no calling a leg side. 31 Australia in the 8th over.
So good pressure from Sri Lanka, and the Australians up to 10 now in their last over here for this pair. And there you go, the very impressive VIP seating areas. Gentleman from Singha, Sanjay, and his team. There's Thirukumar Nadarasa, the chief executive of Hutch. And what a great job they're doing, picking up this... oh dear, oh dear.
That's the first bad one that he's bowled. And Craig Slocum, the coach, is straight away on his feet, screaming out at the bowler, saying, you can't do it. He wouldn't give anything to the Australians today.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Tharindu, I think, is trying just that too hard. He's trying a little bit too hard, Ranil, and he's making a mistake. So Craig was up there saying, listen, lad, just calm down, do what you're supposed to, don't try too hard. Just get your job done, do it well.
Well, that's it's a close call. And also when it comes to the 8th over, the last over for a batting pair, they can get the ball re-bowled. So he's earned twice, which means Australia will get 2 extra deliveries.
Craig, the Sri Lankan coach, very experienced indoor cricketer. He's a world champion indoor cricketer. He won for Australia, and now he's coaching Sri Lanka. So the knowledge factor, and it is a remarkable achievement for Australia when you consider the amount of cricket specialists that they export to the world. We all know here in Sri Lanka how much we rely on Australian expertise. It's just their way, it's their structure, it's their system, which is so good. And here we go, Tarindu now needs to calm down, compose himself, bowl well, and that he does. Yes, he does.
Oh, what a comeback. He's very tough. With that good piece of fielding, the Australians have earned, and they've paid for it. -5, and they slipped down to 33.
Well, I think Craig Slocum will forgive Tarindu. Well collected, clean throw, well done, very neatly done. So we're just going to go to a commercial break. If you're watching these pictures at home, I suggest you stay exactly where you are, because if you stand up and blink, you might miss something.
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ. කියන්න රැඳි සැමදේ රිසිසේ.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට මේ තරම් විශාල ඉලක්කයක් හඹා යන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා දැන් සැකයි. තවත් කඩොල්ලක්. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට හරිම අසීරු තත්ත්වයකින් පසුවන්නේ බලමු 4 වෙනි පිටකරුවත් ඉන්නිම බේරා ගනීවිද කියලා. දැවී ගියා. දැන් ඉතින් හාස්කමක්වත් සිද්ධ වෙන්න දුන්නේ.
අලුත් අලියා ලෙමනේඩ් පැහැදිලි බෝතලයක පැහැදිලි බීමක්. වෙනස පැහැදිලිනේ.
කෑම කොහෙද? HB එතන. හඳුන්වා දෙන අලියා ජින්ජර් බියර් මිලිලීටර 250 ස්නැක් සයිස් බෝතලය. HB දැන් ස්නැක් සයිස් බෝතලයකත්.
ඉස්සර අපි ඉස්කෝලේ යනකොට පොත් ටික ගියේ ගංගේ.
ඕන් එහෙනම් නමෝ විද්‍යෙම මුලපිරු. යෝධ බල හයියකට හොල් නැති කුහර නැති කොන්ක්‍රීට් එකක් ඕකනේ මම හොල් සිම් කට්ටියගේ හොල් සිම් සුපිරිම ගෙන්නුවේ.
හොල් සිම්නේ ආයිබෝන් ඉරහඳ වාගේ විශ්වාසයි.
අපේ වැඩකට අපේම දෙයක්.
අදයි අපේ පාලම විවෘත කරන දවස.
හොල්සිම් සුපිරි කොන්ක්‍රීට් එක තමයි අනගී.
වේම සඳහා දැන් දිවෙනවා. තාප්තාක්ෂ ලෙස පහරක් එල්ල කරනවා. මෙන්න තවත් දිදුල්න ලකුණක්. රින් ග්‍රෑම් CA පැකටුව දැන් රුපියල් 13.50ක්.
Have to think themselves back into this game, and I think they will do that. They will not want to give any wickets away, just try and graft their way through. Oh, mistake! Terrible error from Australia.
Yes, Brooks and Gursky, the new pair. And Brooks plays defensively. Gursky's gone down the pitch, doesn't even attempt to come back. And simple run out for Sri Lanka, pushing Australia back to 32, and this pair goes down to -1.
Exceptional cricket from Sri Lanka. That's what pressure does for you. Even Australia, famed for their ability to play under pressure. Now you see what it does, and that's really all congratulations to the Sri Lankan team management for getting this side so motivated and so committed. They know they're in a World Cup final. They know it's all or nothing, and they're doing exactly what is required of them. Well done, lads. Now they've just got to keep on with the good work and keep the pressure on and finish the job.
That's gone down leg side. Troy Kurski just watches it go and collects 2 runs. Score advances to 33, and certainly a fair amount of concern there on the Australian bench. Here's Pathirana. Good delivery and equally well played. Good fielding. So good cricket all round.
Yes, this Australian pair has a lot of work to do, because not only do they have to bring the Australians back into the game, they have to get some good platform runs, build up for the next side, because overs are now ticking across and they need to build on this. If they don't succeed here, Sri Lanka will be sensing that they have a good chance of closing them down. So a lot of responsibility on this pair now.
Pathirana completes his over. Overall a good one, and he's completed his spell as well. So Sri Lanka have bowled 9 overs now, and here's how it's gone so far. The Australians 22 for the first pair, 3 dismissals, and then 1 more dismissal when Scott Johnson and Jay Otto were out there. 4 dismissals, and Johnson going for -5. Australia picking up 11 runs in all and finishing on 33. Right now they are 37 after facing 2 more overs.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Sri Lanka do from now on, because they know that if they can close these Aussies down, this pair especially, and here's Sanjeeva, Sri Lanka's best bowlers now coming in to finish the job for them. So, brilliant ball. Oh, very close indeed.
Yes, Sanjeeva Jayaratne left arm over the wicket, and very interesting to watch him bowl, because he bowls and goes right across the pitch. He can do that. He won't damage anything here at the indoor stadium, and what a good ball to the left-hander.
Well, that's it. He just holds it right over the seam. He holds it across, doesn't he, Ronil? And then he tries and gives it a little tweak. Look at that.
Yes, he does try different variations, but by and large, he's got a grip of a left arm leg spinner, bowls it quickly, tries to cut it off the pitch, and here he goes again.
A little bit of movement the other way. Good variation, very experienced is Sanjeeva, so he knows exactly what he has to do. He's been here a few times.
Yes, there's no doubt the Australians would have watched the Sri Lankans play, and they do know that Jayaratne is the best bowler, and by far I would say one of the best bowlers that we've seen in this tournament, and they are paying quite a bit of respect to him.
Yes, they are. They're treating him with extreme respect, and Dilshan there very sharp behind the stumps, but a little bit too wide, says the umpire, straight down the leg side. He just tried to angle that across the body and paid the price. Now again Australia come back up to 43. Sri Lanka needs to be conscious of that.
Yes, the runs do keep accumulating without you knowing, because this game is such that you face 4 or 5 deliveries without getting out. You automatically push the score up by about 8 or 9 runs. And here's Sanjeeva Jayaratne again, and that's well played. Again down and up, and they get 2 runs.
That's it. They're up to 45, and that's something that Sri Lanka needs to be conscious of. The runs that are ticking over, they need to try and come back and put more pressure, especially with their bowling. If they can keep a good line, get the ball, and try and get some dot balls in, try and put some pressure, make the batsman think before he can just sort of play some regulation shots, things might happen. And Kurski, and I think it's, let's have a look. Here's Ross Gregory, the coach. Mildly concerned, I would think.
Yes, it would be considered that 80, 85 is a good score. A score that they can really fight, put the pressure on Sri Lanka. Sri Lankans do know that. As Asala Pathirana said at the toss, keep them to a low score as possible is their aim. And now it's Krisanta Pires, another good bowler in the Sri Lankan team. Again, a left-hander. Good fielding, just the one run.
That's it. They really have to up a level again now. Maybe they've just gone off the boil a little bit. And they've let Australia back in. Sri Lanka now have to start. They've got their best bowlers coming at the Australians. Oh, nice ball, well played.
Well, are the Sri Lankans tiring a little bit, Sean? Well, let's hope not for Sri Lanka's sake, because just a little bit of the edge seems to have gone in the last few minutes.
True, true. Let's hope that they can get some Caltex power into their system and not really let the Aussies off the hook. Now they must be wary of throwing the ball to all corners, because if they do that, they might just lose the plot. Here, wonderful pictures, courtesy Sirius TV. If you're watching at home, thank you for your company.
To move to Troy Gursky, and certainly this pair now picking up some momentum. The score goes past 50, 51 now in the 11th over, and the Sri Lankans need a break. They have to get a dismissal to push the Australians back. Krisantha Peiris. Chance of a run out, and he's given.
Absolutely. Just as we spoke, Krisantha bowling his characteristic. Let's have a look. The ball he tried to play against the spin there. Have a look at this. Well, he tried to work it and he had no choice really. He's just sauntering back, and very well done.
Yes, again a good piece of fielding. That was Sanjeeva Jayaratne, who was standing close there. Quick pickup, balanced, and then just flicking it backhand to the keeper, and the batsman well out of his ground. So Australia from 51 have slipped back to 46, and a new set of stumps have been brought to the bowlers' end.
A stump shattering exercise, as they say. No, not out, says the umpire. He's very clear about that. Let's have a look. There's very good pressure. Asela, oh, just a little bit wide. In fact, unfortunately, he didn't have the ball in his hand. Had he been able to collect cleanly, then of course we were talking, or at least Sri Lanka was talking.
Krisantha Peiris.
Good ball. Very well done.
The over, I presume. Yes, it's the last ball, and Brooks on strike. 48 is the Australian score in the 11th. This pair has scored 15 runs so far.
Peiris trying to change his pattern, bowling a little away swinger. And not a bad over from him, but Australia still up to 48. As Ross Collins, the president of the World Indoor Cricket Federation, applauds but says, come on.
Whom is he supporting, Sean?
Well, if you look at his tie, we might take a flying guess.
So the 12th over about to commence, and that's the final over for this batting pair. As we know, each pair given 4 overs. And now it's going to be Eroshan De Silva, the captain, having a word with him before he starts the over. And Australia 49.
49, and the last pair to do battle for the Wallabies. The last pair will have so much responsibility on their hands, because they have to build a total run. I think, as we spoke before, anything over 75 is a very good score. And Eroshan De Silva, fingers straight down the seam. Different plan in mind. Will be looking to bring his country back into this, knock them back, push them down below 30. If they do that in the first over, that would be a phenomenal achievement against these clinical Australians, the world champions.
Here's Eroshan De Silva. And that's a good delivery, good fielding also. Sri Lankan fieldsman alert. The score on 50 in the 12th over. Australia will try and push another 5 or 6 runs through this pair. because then that would leave the last pair in a good position to get them a handy score.
Gursky and Brooks. They've actually done what their team would require, Ranil. They've just brought the score up to 18, the individual score, and the team score up to 50, and that's a very good handover. Not very good bowling there from Eroshan, giving the batsman a little bit too much width, so he could just hit that ball, and Brooks just did just that.
Yes, the first Australian pair put on 22, the second pair put on 11. So this pair came together with the score on 33. A dot ball, a good one from Eroshan. So from 33, they've gone up to 53, and that's 20 very useful runs.
Absolutely, and that will make a lot of difference in the final tally. Here's Eroshan again. Very good regulation one-day stroke into the deck, ball hanging up in the air as the camera goes wandering through the crowd. Beautiful crowd, chock-a-block, busting at the seams, and it's all happening.
Roshan De Silva outside the off stump, dot ball, and the umpire calls last ball. So this batting pair will finish after this delivery, and it's a very, very close contest.
And they have now performed the regulation ask for Australia. They've done very well indeed, and in fact the Aussies have brought it back, scoring 23, bringing the individual score up. We're just off to a commercial break on Sirius Live. If you're watching these pictures, I suggest you stay there. If you need to go to a break, I will go now and come back quickly. There you go, perfect pictures as the next Aussie pair warm up. And in fact, we thought we were going to run to a commercial break, but we'll talk about the commercial break instead. So this Indoor World Cup brought to you by Hutch, and the crowd relaxing, stretching a little bit, all the England players in their sunny outwear because they've got to go back to warm inwear, if I can call it that, because they're going back to the start of the winter. So good luck to them as they get off the plane in Heathrow, whereas Australia will be going back to the start of their summer. So will New Zealand, and it's pretty much cricket season for them. And Sri Lanka, of course, eternal summer, land of eternal summer, with a little bit of rain here and there. So we are part and parcel of this Hutch Indoor World Cup at this beautiful Austasia facility. Chock-a-block, busting at the seams. And Tushendra coming in, bowling for his country. Soiza is a player with a lot of experience, a lot of talent, great indoor cricketer, and much will be expected of him because he is shouldering the responsibility here. And the last Aussie pair, ooh, says the crowd, ooh, says everybody else, but not to be. 56 on the board, the 13th over in progress. 3 more overs after this. And that's it for Australia, so they need to bat out of their heads here.
Greg Lillis facing up to Sendra Soiza, and his partner is Nick de Vries. The new pair, yes, they talk about what's happening out there, a little bit of away swing, he says. And here's Soiza round the wicket. And this time it's on the leg stump, cramped up, and they don't go through with the runner dot ball.
Well, I think the call from de Vries and his partner is to stay in the crease. Lillis and de Vries will be concerned about giving their stumps away or giving their wickets away. And now it's a pressure ball, a must-run situation. Tushendra.
Soiza in, they go through with the single quickly, and they get it. The Sri Lankans know it's the last lap. They know they've got to give it everything. There's no more fielding again for a long time.
True, true. And I think really they just need to now maybe go into 5th or 6th gear upper level of performance and try and put some serious pressure on these Australians. I think they have it in them, Ranil. I think they do, so they're on fire. They just need to now up the level of performance, up the work rate, really put some pressure and try and close these Australians down, because if they don't, these Australians are very efficient in finishing.
Yes, it just takes a few deliveries to swing the game around, and then you've got to work hard, and that's good fielding. Dusendra, sorry, that's Sachindra Gonadua. Correction there, Sachindra Gonadua making that valiant effort, trying to stop the ball from hitting the net, and he does so. Look at that.
Pretty much like a trapeze artist, hitting the side and bouncing off the net. The proud Sri Lankan flag. Let's hope it'll be up and running at the end of this innings, because it needs to be there. This team needs as much encouragement as they can get, because these Australians are very, very good in finishing. And now Dushendra just letting the pressure get away from him and letting the Australian batsmen get valuable runs. So they've got up to 63.
Yes, now it is crunch time, and that's how it's gone so far. 3 dismissals for the first pair. They made 22. The second pair made only 11. They were dismissed 4 times. So Sri Lanka were right on top of the game at that stage. But the next pair, they just clawed their way back. Matthew Brooks, 17, top scorer so far. He wasn't out a single time. Gusky was out twice, and they took the score to 56. 23 put on by them. That's the highest partnership so far. And so Australia, from that point, have advanced to 63, which means this pair has put on 7 runs.
Well, a timely contribution from Brooks and Sanjeev Jayaratne, Sri Lanka's best bowler, to do the business now for his country. Oh, near misses on all sides. Have a look at this. He plays it down the leg side off his foot. Close, but not close enough.
Jayaratne. There's a chance of a run out here. They've gone to the second umpire. The Sri Lankans are confident. That was very sharp fielding. A good pickup. And the throw coming on the turn. The bowler gets away. And here comes the throw to Sendra Soiza.
Oh.
Well, that's going to be a touch and go.
Desperately close. That I wouldn't really want to be in the umpire's boots or shoes or sat where he is. But I think, yes, the batsman was ruled just in. Fair call, Ranil, fair call.
Fair call, definitely. So the Australians will be pleased that they weren't pushed back. But Sri Lanka need to claw back. They need to keep Australia to around 70 runs. And still 2 overs to go after this. Not easy to do that. Good delivery from Jayaratne. Good pace. Beating the batsman, hitting him on his leg. No run.
Very good ball there. Equally good ball, so 3rd run now. 3rd ball, has to run, have to run situation. A little smile there.
Sanjeev Jayaratne. Left arm over the wicket. Bowls that on the leg stump, and they get a run for it. So the 3rd ball disaster averted. 65 the score. And this pair has now put on 9 runs.
There you go, the tanned figure of the England skipper. He's been catching the sun.
Again, a good delivery from Sanjeev Jayaratne. This over has been good. He took the ball with the score on 68. And it's now 65, so he's been spot on. Here he comes again. Another good delivery. What fine bowling from Sanjeev Jayaratne.
So pressure bowling from Sanjeeva, 3rd ball. Very well played by the Australian. Lillis just a clean hit down the leg side. Good recovery from the Australians, Ronald, we have to say that.
Yes, a very good game on our hands. Australia 67 or 15 overs. They have not been allowed to dominate by the Sri Lankans. And if you look at the scores of the last game when they played in the preliminary round, Sean, Australia made 96 and Sri Lanka made 72. So up to now, Sri Lanka have done very well to keep them to 67.
Absolutely, and I think it's a case of coming out and controlling every over. And that's what the Australians do. They work on every over, every ball. Somebody would want to analyze how this game is played. It's all about pressure, it's all about control, it's all about commitment.
The other left-hander, Krisantha Piri, starts off with a top nut, beating him outside the off stump. Bit of spin. And what a great ball that was to start off his over. Well, the foot seemed to be on the line when the ball hit the stump, yes. And that should be out. It is out. The crowd goes delirious. -5. Great start for Pires.
Good thinking by Dilshan. Have a look at this. He's seen the ball, he sees the batsman in trouble, and he just flicks it back. Brilliant stuff. Now that's the edge that Sri Lanka have brought to this game. And that might just be the percentage that takes us all the way. Or takes Sri Lanka all the way, rather.
Krisantha Pires in, another good delivery. Superb bowling. Left arm, slightly round armish. That doesn't matter because he's bowling at good pace. He's getting the ball to cut off the pitch and really giving the Australians a tough time.
The Australians have had a hard time of facing him. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Erosion there. Had he collected cleanly, there would have definitely been a result for Sri Lanka. But he just couldn't get there. Total frustration on his part, but he just managed to get in the way, but didn't manage to collect cleanly. Here's Prashanta. Ball going the other way. Brilliant work behind the stumps.
Yes, drifted a bit too much. That's a leg side wide, gives the Australians 2 runs. There it goes, a lot of drift in fact, and a lot of movement off the pitch as well. But the keeper did extremely well with the ball.
Oh, good reply by the Australians. Degrees, have a look at this. Finds the gap, if you can call it that.
Yes, and that's what Sri Lanka can't afford to do. Pires giving another 2 runs. And a boundary, I reckon that was the first boundary hit. Pretty close to the Caltex Super 4's board. Caltex offering $10 on 3 of the balls that they have placed at the bottom of the court. Should a batsman hit one of them, they get $10. And then there are boards at the top, the 6-hit boards, where you get $20.
Beautiful bowling. Fabulous stuff. Caltex, the team sponsor for Sri Lanka, and giving everybody a chance of earning some valuable shopping money to take home. Nice, beautiful bowling, but unfortunate for Krisantha. They just couldn't collect it cleanly. Spun viciously off the track, took the outside edge, but just didn't come off the net strongly enough for a catch. So it's all happening. Here we are. Cirrus Alive. Hope you enjoyed the pictures. It's been a fabulous series, a fabulous Hutch Indoor World Cup, and this is the final conclusion of it. And what a brilliant conclusion. And we're so happy to be here. Great privilege to be able to talk the game for you at home. Hope you're enjoying it. We are certainly enjoying ourselves, as is a packed house here at the Austasia facility. Huge VIP bench extending almost one side of the stadium, and the other side chock-a-block. Players, spectators, kids, young and old. I see a couple of 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds. Beautiful day, beautiful sight. What a fabulous example for Indoor World Cup cricket.
Narindu Mendis starts the 16th over. And this is going to be crucial. Tarindu Mendes faltered a little bit earlier on because the moment you bowl a leg side wide, no ball, then you have to bowl it again. The batsman can request for it to be bowled again. So Tarindu Mendes has to be spot on. He's got to bowl 8 good deliveries. And Australia now 74. This pair has put on 18 runs. The first pair put on 22. The second pair 11. The third pair 23. And this pair so far 18.
That's it, Ranil. They are very clinical at what they do. So you must be careful. Tarindu must compose himself and bowl just like that. Referee is asking, or the umpire, it's gone for the ask. Was his foot up? He's taken his foot off the line. Here we go.
It's good work by the keeper.
Oh, yes, he's gone.
He's
gone. Dilshan, exceptional ability at the back.
Second time, yes.
I'll tell you, he's just done some amazing things in the last over. 2 very, very good outs from almost nothing. Very sharp. Very well done by the young man there.
So the score slips back to 69. Dilshan with Arna again alert. Very smart work behind the stumps. And here's Tarindu Mendes. Good fielding again. First Charatna, then Krisanta Pires, all getting into the action and stopping the ball from hitting the net. Just the 1 run for Australia.
Brilliant effort from Sri Lanka. Good work rate, good commitment. Not letting these Aussies get to them. They have really taken the game to Australia, and that's a remarkable achievement for Sri Lanka. Oh, just didn't manage to dislodge the bails.
Yes, Soisa is disappointed because he got the ball, and there you are, the batsman is well outside the crease. But Soisa is airborne, dropped the ball. What a lovely shot that was.
Beautiful camera work.
The next one from Mendes.
Very well fielded too.
Let's see if the umpire gives it as a 3, or does he give it as just 1? I reckon he's given it as 1.
Now Tarindu needs to compose himself. He needs to just work out his line in length. He's straying down the offside again. He's coming around the wicket and he's just trying to bowl across the body of the Australian batter. And all he's succeeding in doing is going a little bit too wide. That's a better line.
Yes, the call for the second umpire. The TV umpire will come into play now. That's going to be mighty close. Mendes let it go for Soisa.
Yes!
And he's done a superb job again. Australia down to 70.
Well, the ball just came to him, really. He didn't have to do much. He just had to stand behind the stumps. And the Sri Lankan flags run down the aisles here at the Austasia facility. It's all happening as the security gets involved. But they're also having a good time. Players, spectators, security, everybody's up and running. And why not? My goodness, Sri Lanka, all the support in the world, and they're responding so magnificently.
Here's Mendes, focused, he's in the last over, comes in and bowls, and that's taken him on the leg. So it's a dot ball, and that's the end of the Australian innings. They made 70 runs in 16 overs, and the Sri Lankan fans, they are delighted. They know that there is a possibility for Sri Lanka to win this game. A lot of cheering, a lot of shouting. We go in for a commercial break and join us in a moment.
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
love of the game. To be the best you can. To take your game to new heights. To be fitter than the rest. There are many reasons to play, and whatever yours may be, there is only one place to play it. The Austacia Sports Complex.
Every woman in the world shares one common dream. One day, that dream will surely come true. When that dream comes true, it's called home. There's one common name in every home, the world over. Singer at home worldwide.
හැමදාම අලුත්ම ෆ්‍රිජ් එකක් දිනා ගන්න කීල් සොසේජ් මේනියා වෙතින්. කීල් සොසේජස් හෝ ඕනෑම කීල්ස් නිෂ්පාදන දවටන දෙකක් සමග නම ලිපිනය දුරකථන අංකය ලියා කීල්ස් ෆුඩ් ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් ලිමිටඩ් තැපැල් පෙට්ටිය 25 ජායල වෙත අදම එවන්න. හැමදාම ෆ්‍රිජ් එකක් දිනා ගන්න. හැමදාම කීල් සොසේජස් කන්න.
ඇඟ පිච්චිලා යන රස්නි දවස්වලට කෝල් එකේ ඉන්න රුපියල් 59,995ක් පමණයි.
නා කූල් එකකින් කූල් වෙන්න රුපියල් 15ක් විතරයි.
කෝක් බඩි ශීතකල මිල රුපියල් 15යි.
කූල්
කියන්න හද වැදිදේ මා සමගේ කියන්න
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රෙසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
කියන්න රැඳි සැමදේ රෙසිසේ.
කෑම කොහෙද? HEB එතන. හඳුන්වා දෙන අලයා ජින්ජර් මිලිලීටර 250 ස්නැක් සයිස් බෝතලය. HEB දැන් ස්නැක් සයිස් බෝතලයකත්.
ඉස්සර අපි ඉස්කෝලේ යනකොට පොත් ටික ගියේ ගංගේ.
ඕන් එහෙනම් නවාවිත්‍යයෙන්ම මුලපිරු. යෝධ බල හයියකට හොල් නැති කුහර නැති කොන්ක්‍රීට් එකක්
ඕකනේ මම හොල්සිම් කට්ටියගේ හොල්සිම් සුපිරිම ගෙන්නුවේ.
හොල්සින්නේ අයිබල් ඉරහඳ වාගේ විශ්වාසයි.
අපේ වැඩකට අපේම දෙයක්.
අදයි අපේ පාලම විවෘත කරන දවස.
හොල්සිම් සුපිරි කොන්ක්‍රීට් එක තමයි අනගී.
How they fared. Aaron Mills and Robert Fitzgerald put on 22. Then Scott Johnson and Jay Otto, they put on 11, took the score to 33. That was the lowest partnership for Australia. Matthew Brooks and Troy Gursky took the score to 56. 23 put on by them. And finally, 14 runs between Nick de Vries and Greg Lylis. So right through the game, right through the innings, Chandashan, Sri Lanka kept the pressure on.
Here we go. Very good pressure from Sri Lanka in the field. And now the other side of it, Sri Lanka now playing for a place in the history of Indoor World Cup cricket. This is the big effort. Tarindu coming out. De Vries swinging the ball viciously in. And very well bowled, very well batted. This is it. Sri Lanka now a chance to outplay the Australians and win the Indoor Cup. That's up to the batsman in the middle. We can only talk the game till we go hoarse in our heads. But Tarindu Mendis, he's going to have a good one today.
Yes, the Australians champions for 5 consecutive Indoor World Cups. Can they do it a 6th time? Or can Sri Lanka break the chain of wins. There is a bit of confusion, but Tarindu Mendes scrambles back to his crease at the non-striker's end. And 5 runs scored so far by the Sri Lankan opening pair. Sri Lanka chasing 70. So they will give everything they have, because they have a chance today to win this match.
Absolutely, regulation stuff, brilliantly done. Will it be 6th time unlucky for Australia, or will it be 1st time lucky for Sri Lanka? That's the choice you have at home. Take your bets, sit down, whisper a prayer, and let's see how we go. Excellent bowling from Australia, but equally well batted. These Australians are such professionals. Degrees coming out, bowling exactly what his team wants him to do. But Krishanta and Tarindu well up to it.
Yes, a great start. 9 runs already in the first over. Degrees. Good delivery for him, very sharp. Good pace. That was one of the quickest deliveries we've seen today.
Absolutely, no pace, Kanya, unfortunately. That we have to go to our sets of eyes, but he changed the grip on the ball and just let it fly. And you saw how it bounced. Again, the same ball, just outside the off stump. Krishanta just giving himself a little bit of room to try and play for the swing, but in fact it just went straight on. So here we go, Sri Lanka, the reply. As the band kicks in, the drums are up, the flags are up. The players, there's a lot of England and New Zealand players, men and women joining in with the Sri Lankans. All island brothers and sisters together.
Yes, so many people already on their feet, clapping, chanting, shouting, singing. They are waiting expectantly for something historic. Will they be able to go home happy?
Well, great expectations with capital letters, really. So pressure on the Sri Lankans in one sense, but I think they're going to handle it really well. It's just a matter of how they cope with the bowling, more than all of us babbling about it. And so far, they've done remarkably well.
Troy Gursky, the new bowler, gives away 2 runs in his first delivery. So the Australians gone a little quiet. They're not their usual, really enthusiastic selves as Gursky comes in. Good delivery, dot ball.
Go, says the umpire. And if I know Craig Slocum, he would have told the Sri Lankan team, listen lads, it's another day at the office, it's another game. You just get out there and get on with your job. Don't listen to anything but your head. And just finish for us today.
Well played by Krishanta Perez. Playing the ball well onto the leg side net. Good cricket shot. And of course a wild backhand throw. 2 runs.
So up to 13 in the second over, chasing 70. Sri Lanka, all the initial work done. Now they just need to answer Australia with the bat and try and out-bat them. And I think if Sri Lanka keep their heads on, keep the momentum, keep the composure, I think they've got a chance, Ranil, a very, very good chance.
Krishanta Perez full of concentration, waits for Gursky. There's a chance of a run out here. No, says the umpire. No, he does call for a replay. That was Tarindu Mendes. He seems confident that he got to his ground. And here comes the return. Good throw. And certainly he's got back. Not out is the call. 14 is the score. So this pair still not dismissed even once.
That's it, and that's really the requirement, to stay intact. Don't give your wickets away. Stay with the game. Keep the focus on. Play the ball on its merits. All those simple things that we talk about, this is where you do it. Little bit of a shamble there in the corner.
Yes, there is an appeal. Let's see what it's for. The Australians asking the question. This is Krishanta playing that last delivery, and there is the appeal. It's an appeal for a catch. very hard to say from that angle whether it was a catch. Did he touch it? Or did it get his foot? Did it get bat and then pad? Possibly.
Possibly.
The second umpire will have to decide.
Everybody's up screaming. As you can see the replays around here. Not out, says the umpire. Much to the delight of the Sri Lankan crowd and the two batsmen. That's a good reaction from them. It just shows how much heart is in this game and how much heart is in this first pair. Brilliant stuff, pure passion on the line.
Troy Guskey walks slowly back to his mark. The Australian fielders talking to each other. That's Mills and that's Guskey with the ball in the hand. Third ball, which means they have to cross. They have to take a run here. Prasanta Peris on strike.
There we go, pressure. Excellently done, well fielded, but everything to form. Prashanta driving down the wicket. Nice clean hit, very well done.
Yes, good cricket all round. Wasn't a bad delivery, was right up to the batsman. But he did well to hit it through leg side and a good piece of fielding. Again they run, misfield, so 2 runs. That's the end of the second over. And Sri Lanka have done extremely well up to now. They are 17.
Well, we're going to have to come up with some more colourful terminology, Ronald. We're running out of words. Because this final, an absolutely brilliant game so far. If you're watching at home, I know there's a lot of television going on, but I'll tell you, this time for Sri Lanka, this chance for Sri Lanka to go out and win the Indoor World Championship. They've got a very, very good chance. They've got Australia on the hop pretty much, but Australia are such a good side. You can't really write them off. This man, Slocum, he knows all about it. He's been there when Australia won the World Cup the last time. He was actually in the team. So he would have given all that knowledge, that strength, that confidence and that experience to the Sri Lankan side, to the younger players, and he would have told them, listen, concentrate, get on with the job, don't get swayed by anything else, don't rush like you did in the last game and lose wickets at crucial points. So they know that, they know what they have to do. It's a serious job, but the most important factor is you're in a final, go out and enjoy it.
Robert Fitzgerald, here he comes. And that's a good drive, and that's off the hand, onto the back net, which means it's 4 runs. The crowd knows it, they know it's 4, they are up and screaming, and Sri Lanka advance to 23.
Well, it's not going all according to the Australian script so far. Just the ball deflecting off the hand and running all the way back. Good pressure, well replied, great cricket, there you go. She was saying 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, and so she should.
Yes, the Australian fielding are a little bit ragged at the moment. They're not stopping them clean, they're not throwing to hit the stumps. But here's a good delivery from Fitzgerald. They need a few deliveries like that. They need to push the Sri Lankans back at this stage because this opening pair is going very well on 25 in the third over.
Well, Australia will need to call on all of their experience, Ranil, to try and bring themselves back into this game. Right now he's just slipping a little bit away from them, not too far away. Sri Lanka up to 27 in their third over, chasing 70. But the Australians are a very professional team. And I keep saying that at the risk of sounding boring, but they know exactly what they're about. It'll be hard to outplay them by just batting out, Ronald. It needs some exceptional ability in the middle.
Yes, an opening stand was important, a good one. And this pair so far are going steadily. They've just got about 10 deliveries, I believe, to go. And they have to just keep going and going and going until those deliveries are completed. They've gone past what the Australians scored first up. The Australian opening pair got 22. These two have gone up to 28.
Now that's part of the requirement, not to try and rush too much, just to finish well. as they do. That's it, perfect hit. Getting runs on the board is the requirement. Keeping your wickets intact is also the requirement. If you can do that and do it well, Sri Lanka will hand over so well. The first pair of Tarindu and Kushanta would have done their job way beyond expectations, and very happy Craig Slocum is there on the other side, barking instructions, whispering, don't give your wickets away. Just finish as you have done, just keep going. And he knows what he's got in hand. He knows that Sri Lanka have a sniff of this World Cup, so it's all happening. There you go.
Yes, they are dancing in the stands, Chandrashan. You said you were running out of words. I'd say save the best for the last, because I'm sure in 1 hour's time, there'll be plenty of adjectives that will require. At the moment, Sri Lanka right on top, 31 in just 3 overs, chasing Australia's 70. They've just got to keep their heads cool, keep batting without giving those -5s.
Absolutely, and I'm just trying to think of all those English lessons I had and those important words that we were taught. But right now, Sri Lanka getting on with the job, doing really well, and finishing just as they started. This first pair up to 33 now, and the bench saying, carry on, lads, carry on. Just keep your head on and finish. Well played by Kushanta, hitting wide there into the net, not giving the Aussies a chance of picking up a catch. Good ball, very good ball.
Scott Johnson with his off breaks. The Australian captain bowling the 4th over. And that wasn't bowled quickly, that was bowled slowly. Usually you push the off breaks through a little quicker. But Scott Johnson giving that earlier ball a little flight. This time it's quicker and very well played by Mendes.
Oh, Tarindu Mendes, just what the doctor required, or the doctor has ordered. Prescription hitting from him, just punching the ball down, getting the run across. Fabulous stuff for Sri Lanka. Again, Johnson, too short, too much width, just unable to do so. The captain now, a little bit of pressure running, a little bit of pressure.
Yes, a lot of pressure, I would say, because the Australians haven't made a big score, 70. And here's Scott Johnson to Mendes, and again well played, and again well played. 2 runs. The score moving on to 39 in the 4th over, and the Sri Lankan openers have done a tremendous job.
I dare say the skipper trying to consider what he has to do here. There will be concern in his mind, as will be concern on the Australian bench, as to how they plan to now take it from here.
Scott Johnson to Pires, who just takes it on his front leg. He knows they have done the job. He knows they've done what the coach wanted. He knows they've done what the team wanted and the supporters. And now it's a matter of finishing it off.
Big rush in the middle, but the batsman cross. And 1 run, says the umpire.
And last ball is the goal. Last ball, Chandrashan, which means this pair of Pires and Mendes have done an excellent job for Sri Lanka.
Well played, a little bit of respect there right at the end from Tarindu. We're going to go to a commercial break. If you're at home watching this, I suggest you plant yourself, get everything you need around you, and stay right where you are, because we'll be back straight after this commercial.
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
රැඳි සැමදේ රිසිසේ.
love of the game. To be the best you can. To take your game to new heights. To be fitter than the rest. There are many reasons to play, and whatever yours may be, there is only one place to play it. The Austacia Sports Complex.
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
රැඳි සැමදේ රිසිසේ.
Good platform work done by the first pair. That's all they need to do. I think Craig Sluggan would have told them, listen lads, don't rush, no panic, composure and clinical finishing is a requirement here. Nothing else.
Very well played by Jaratna. And he throws himself. He must be having some pain, I'm sure, Chandrashan. He just can't get over a hamstring strain that quickly. They've obviously done a lot of work on trying to get it recovered, and maybe he's got a painkiller there.
I think so. Not that I would advocate painkillers because they are terrible things to do. But this is a World Cup final, Ranil, and he wouldn't want to be sitting on the bench watching this. He's had a great performance in the field all the way through, and just to pull a hamstring, it's a combination of pressure and hard work, of course, but I think he's very heavily strapped, and he's doing so well.
Jay Otto to Dilshan, who waits for it, waits for the movement, plays it very nicely off his feet. That's a superb cricket shot, picks him 2 runs, and Sri Lanka advanced to 43.
Now Dilshan had a bit of a nightmare in the last game, Ranil, because this pair actually were really expected to do so well, and they got himself into a little bit of a rut and dug themselves a big hole, and Dilshan in particular responded really badly to the pressure.
Well, here's the first dismissal. The Sri Lankans have got to be careful. They cannot run for balls like that. It was the first one he faced, edged it to the back net, and the call should have been no.
Absolutely, they don't need to sacrifice any running or any wickets rather by trying to rush too much, because that will give the Australians a step up and a much needed foot in the door. If they get in there, they're going to push that door down. Pace from Australia now. Very well replied by Dilshan. Well played. Let the ball come to him and then just worked it on the offside. Very well done.
Just the 1 run, but that's enough. They can get it in once. There's plenty of balls remaining. Jay Otto with the cameraman and the photographers behind him. Driven down the ground, chance of a run out, missed. And they try to take a run off the overthrow. Sanjeeva Jayaratne talks to his partner, says, don't worry. There was a chance there of a run out because the non-striker, look at him, he's backing up far too much.
That's it, that's what we were talking about. Dilshan Vitarna, he just has a little bit of, well, he's got a big cap onto his head, so maybe a little bit too much rush of blood. Excellent start.
Well, some consolation for the Australians because they got 1 wicket. Pushed the Sri Lankans back by 5 runs. They were 42 after the first pair, and they played in that fashion. 21 to Krisantha Peris, 19 to Tharindu Mendis. So Krisantha Peris goes as the highest scorer for the day in this match, overtaken the Australian top scorer, and good support, tremendous support from Tharindu Mendis. So now it's the second pair of Dilshan Vitarna who is the regular wicket-keeper in the side, and that fine all-rounder, Sanjeeva Jayaratne. They've got just the 2 runs in the first over they've faced. So the 6th over about to commence with Sri Lanka on 42.
And there's Scott Johnson having a word with the umpire, asking him for clarification. Concern on the Aussies now. They're just asking what's going on. Let's have a look. They are marshalling their effort now. I saw their coach come out, huddle them up and tell them, listen lads, we've been here before. We've been to a few of these. We just need to try and finish off well here.
Well, another run out. Dilshan Vitarna perhaps uncertain whether to back up or not. Slow on the takeoff and run out by quite a bit of distance. So the Australians slowly but steadily getting back into this game.
That's it now. With very good teams, Ranil, if you let them in, that's it. You know, and that's really what Sri Lanka must be wary of. They must try and keep Australia out. They must try and close them down, put the pressure on them. And Dilshan.
Bad news again. Good accurate throw. And the Aussies are now fired up. Can the Sri Lankans hold on? Will they crumble under pressure? After that superb opening stand, this pair in a great deal of difficulty. At the moment, they're on -8.
Now this happened in the last game as well. This is exactly what they did, and they had to claw their way back. But in that case, they were fielding second. This time, this is it. This is it for Sri Lanka. And Dilshan and Sanjeeva need to be conscious of what they have to do. It's just a case of going out there. Now they have dug themselves a little bit of a hole. Now they need to come back to a positive frame. That's what they have to do first. Then they just need to bat out the runs, keep their wickets intact. I mean, it's unnecessary to try and, you know, rush, which they have done. They've just given their wickets away in succession and let the Australians come right back.
Good dot ball from Brooks. Just sliding down leg side, but not wide enough for a leg side call. So it's a ball without a run being scored. And here's Brooks again. A chance of a run out, and again Vitarna out of his ground, and Sri Lanka slipped back into the 20s, 27.
Now this is communication. Look at this. Very wide ball. Sanjeeva, he's a batsman. He's going to try and have a go at it. But Dilshan Vitarna had just taken off down the track. I mean, I was just talking about the pressure and the blood in his head, and I think he just needs to calm down. He just needs to just look at what is required of them, not rush. And you know, the lack of communication, this is what he should not do. His team just want him to play regulation cricket.
Brooks again at the top of his mark. It's been a good over from him so far. Quick delivery, and this time they scramble a single. The score moves to 28.
All that initial good work has been undone now, because the total goes down to 28 in the 6th over. All is not lost by a long shot, but pressure will change people and the way they play. That's a good reply.
He makes up for that. He makes up for that for the lost wickets. Good drive through the offside. 4 runs to Dilshan Vitarna.
Now there you go. All you have to do is wait for the ball and just do that. Get the ones, get the twos. That is their job. I think sometimes they feel that they need to run everything, and that's what this pair has made the initial mistake in doing. Well, that's better. There you go. I know it's a lot easier to sit here and talk about it, but actually these guys, these lads are very experienced. They know what is expected of them. So it is a little bit of that early nerves that makes you play and run a bit too soon. Dilshan needs to calm down, compose himself, look at the ball, played on its merits, punch it back, get runs for his country.
Brooks again. And this time the call is correct. End of the over, so the last few balls much better for Sri Lanka, a boundary and then a couple, so they've crept back up to 35. but still this pair is on -5, and the Australians gather together. They are talking. They know that if they keep the pressure on, there is still a chance, still a possibility that they can salvage this game. Not easy having scored 70 runs.
Absolutely true, Ranil. But you must be wary because good teams, and this Australian team is a very, very good team. Good teams have that ability when they're under extreme pressure to rely and go to their experience and just look in, marshal themselves and come out and perform exceptionally well. So Sri Lanka must be very conscious of that. Right now, all they have to do, the two batsmen, Sanjeeva Jayaratne and Dilshan Vitarna, all they have to do, as we look through the frame of that magnificent trophy, the Hutch Indoor World Cup tournament trophy, the magnificent, huge, larger-than-life take-home trophy here, and all they have to do really is to just play out the runs, be concentrated and work each ball. Just like that.
Good start for Jayaratne, and for Sri Lanka, just a nice little push. Mills is the bowler. Jay Otto behind the stumps, the only player playing in this game wearing spectacles. And here's Mills outside the off stump, coming back. Very nicely played by Dilshan Vitarna. Two more.
Now that's it. Now this is what Dilshan could have been doing all the way through. There was no need for that initial panic. They can do this. For them, then it's another day at the office. For Australia, it might be the last day at the office. So it's just a toss-up now. Australia, Mills, focusing, fingers right up the seam. What's he going to do with this? A little slower, a little off-break ball, and gets the result.
Well, from this point, if they get 10+ runs in this partnership, I reckon they've done their bit, because they've fallen back through their own mistakes. But that's the way this game goes. It turns around so very quickly. And if they take Sri Lanka to 50, that will be a good achievement.
Well bowled, well fielded, and well run. Brilliant cricket here in the World Cup final. If you're watching these pictures on Sirisa Live, thank you for your company. Hope you enjoyed the tournament here on Sirisa. Very privileged to be able to talk it for you. And look at that, full stretch. The Australians concentrating, focusing, trying to get this World Cup, defending their championship title. And they know they're just a little bit away from home. Sri Lanka hoping that they might be the ones to put their name on this trophy. Magnificent trophy it is too. The whole of the country behind these lads. Australia busting at the seams, Ronnie. What a fabulous tournament it has been.
Yes, indeed. And the atmosphere, as Chandrashan has described, is tremendous. There's no doubt the players enjoying it thoroughly. They're lifted by all the shouting, the chanting, the cheering. And there is a call from the umpire. He wants to talk to the Australian captain. We'll wait and see what it is.
That's Peter Blow, the main umpire. Telling the Australian skipper, watch it. Don't try and rush anything. Just let the game proceed in the best tradition. He's warning the skipper. And here's the skipper going back to him now. There you go, harsh words from the umpire. Just saying, listen, lads, we want a good final. We don't want you to, look at anything else but the game in the middle, played to the best of your ability, and let's have a seriously good final.
Aaron Mills to Dilshan. That's well played, and 3 runs. They couldn't grab the ball. It went off the hands onto the net. And in those tight stoppages, the Sri Lankans certainly have outdone the Australians up to this point.
They have done. Airborne Wallaby, unable to get to it. There you go, Dilshan Vitarna and Sanjeeva finally getting on the score sheet, doing exactly what is required of them. They could have been doing this all the way, but nevertheless, here they are, carving back a little bit of pride for themselves and getting themselves out of that rather deep hole. So now, score up to 46. Respectability for Sri Lanka. Mills to try and undo that. Good ball from him. Very good reply.
7 overs completed. 46 the total. Aaron Mills bowling the last delivery. A standard off break, pushed through a little quickly. And Sanjeeva Jayaratne cleverly plays it defensively. So Sri Lanka 46. Greg Slocum, the coach, just ask him then to hang on in this last over. They've come back extremely well in the one completed after having a bad one in the 6th over. Now 46, and the pair have put on 6 runs.
That's it, Ranil. Great character, great experience shown by that pair. I mean, to be able to claw their way back in this World Cup final with the might of Australia, the defending world champions, coming at you with everything, is a remarkable achievement in itself, and a testament to the hard work done as a team and the coach. Great example of good management. Very well done. Great example. Here you go. Asela Patharana saying, listen, lads, get out there. It's for us. Enjoy yourselves. And that's it. That's a smile that will change everything. That's really what you need to do. Relax, get out there and enjoy yourself.
Roy Goski, and very well played by Dilshan Vitarna. That should give him confidence. That should give his partner confidence that this over should be played out. Maybe push it just past 50, and that's it.
That's it, that's it, that's it. Everybody says that. Just get the ones, go for the twos, but nothing silly. Wickets intact. Thank you very much. There's Craigie. He knows. He says, that's it. Thumbs up, lads. Keep your wickets intact. Don't do anything silly.
They go to the second umpire, but the Australians celebrate. Fair chance, they couldn't make the ground. That was Vitarna going to the striker's end, and it looks like he's gone.
Very good reflexes from the Australians there. Brilliantly done. We saw the Sri Lankans doing exactly that with Eroshan and Sanjeeva himself, and now Sanjeeva at the receiving end of that. Dilshan, unfortunate, nothing really. Just brilliant fielding from the Australians.
Yes, they've slipped back to 42 after being on 47. And here's Gursky. Good drive. They get a run for it.
Well, bowling quite well. Good line. And very well played by Vitarna. Hit through the line and hit well.
Gursky first of the Australian bowlers to finish the spell of 2 overs. He bowled the second over, and now he bowls the 8th over. Sri Lanka on 45 in reply to Australia's 70. This pair just putting on 6 runs. They've had a tough time.
They really have. They've been down and out, but they've come back. Something that shouldn't have happened, and this is exactly what we were talking about.
Yes, keenness to get to the other end, desperate probably not to get out on the 3rd ball, but it wasn't even the 3rd ball, so it has been just unnecessary run-outs.
That's it. Excellent pressure from Australia. And very difficult chapter in the Sri Lankan story here in the World Cup final. Dilshan Vitarna and Sanjeeva Jayaratne. Good experience, but a lot of good Aussie pressure as well. And just finishing If they can just finish on 5 or 6, I think that would be a good score considering everything that has happened.
Jayaratne waits. He gives a signal. Is he going to go for a big one? No, he goes down and up, gets 2 runs, finishes with that. 5 runs to this pair, 45 the Sri Lankan total, and Sri Lanka very much in the game, although this pair have scored only 5. We'll go in for a commercial break before the next over.
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
Every woman in the world shares one common dream. One day, that dream will surely come true. When that dream comes true, it's called home. There's one common name in every home, the world over. Singer at home worldwide.
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
That's it. This is it. Prescription hitting, I call it. Just what the doctor ordered for Sri Lanka. Eroshan and Sachindra. They just need to get on with the job. Not do anything excessively risky. Eroshan de Silva, tons of experience. So he needs to bring all that experience to this. All the months of training, all the shouting, all that. Everything comes down to now, Ranil. Brilliant stuff. Full stretch.
Roshan knows that he should have pushed it a little harder, maybe. Shake of the head, because his partner was under tremendous pressure to get back to his crease. But going to do his quick, long strides. He's a tall player. He gets across the court quickly, and he managed to get home.
Certainly does. Needed to do that. Very good hit from him. Sri Lanka now taking the game back to Australia. Lillis unable to put pressure with his right arm over. Pace bowling, not much in it really. There you go. Well home. There he is, wiping his hand. Excellent stuff. Sri Lanka, good reply. Coming straight back, the pair settling well, getting runs, keeping their wicket intact. Here's that trophy we're all playing for. The whole world will be watching this in time to come. This is the Hutch Indoor World Cup facility. Not very good bowling from Lillis there.
End of the 9th over, and Sri Lanka have moved on to 53, and that was a good productive over for them. They started, yes, they started on 45, so they put on 8 runs in that over.
Good work rate from the Sri Lankan batting pair, and here's that card. You see the first total 40, brilliant stuff, and then very very difficult story of this Dilshan Vitarna and Sanjeeva Jayaratna. The 6 outs really undid everybody, but they just managed to crawl off with a little bit of respect, and the 5 runs on the board. And now Sachindra and Eroshan De Silva are doing very well in that first over. Good work rate, just what is required for Sri Lanka. Just good platform playing. There you go. Get the 1 run, put the fielders under pressure and play the ball on its merits. You can't say that enough, really, because although it sounds very complicated and we are in a World Cup final, it's about doing the little things very, very well.
Aaron Mills bowling his second over. Bowls quickish off breaks. Very well played by Gonadua. 2 more runs.
Well, Ranil, shades of that Australian outdoor World Cup. You remember things that go to hand and just pop out. Are we seeing a wonderful repeat of history? Your guess is as good as mine. We won't hazard anything here. Watch the game and decide. As Sri Lanka get about their business. These two are doing wonderfully well, and this is a requirement. That's it. Talk to each other, work it out, play the ball, and just accumulate.
Gonadua has been in superb touch. He's played some delicate shots, good cricket shots, and here he's ready and waiting.
Concentrating. Well bowled. Nice. An off break that swung in. He just changed the grip on the ball and let it go, and they did everything. Very good ball. Gonadua did well to just keep it out of the way.
Lots of subtle variations from Aaron Mills. Where he's focused, goes away, and again another good delivery. So 2 deliveries, dot balls, which means it's going to be the 3rd ball where he has to score. He has to cross. He can't bat for more than 2 deliveries. 3rd ball.
Well, part of the pressure runner is to put pressure on the batsman. And you saw Australia just hold play up, just squeezing a little bit more pressure onto the Sri Lankan batters. As Mills just lets that outswinger to the left-hander.
Sachindra Gonadua staying cool under pressure. Just waited for it. Hit it down and up. And away they went for that single. So Sri Lanka now on 57.
Very nicely done. Oh, no. All that good work undone. And Arjuna grimaces a little bit. He's been here a few dozen times, hasn't he? Either way, it's a lot of pressure. And he'll be willing the boys to do well here.
Well, he seems to be a bit nervous himself, having been through so many anxious moments, so many tense finishes, so many tense stages in big-time cricket. But that's the way it goes. You'll never lose that feeling. You always feel for those who are playing. You know you've been there, but still, it's the going is tough, and you feel for the players. Here's Mills now to Eroshan, and they go through with the single.
Absolutely, Ranil. Irrespective of what part of the game you're not in, or how old you are, or where you are, you never forget. When you come here, and never playing the national anthems today, there was a bit of a butterfly that took off in my stomach, and it's so hard to bear because you can see and feel for the lads in the middle, and Arjuna will be going through the same story. And that run out, you saw him just blink a little and whisper to himself, "Come on, lads." If I was captain, you know what I would be telling you. That's Craig Slocum, the coach now. Arjuna, what a great captain for his country. What a great example of what is required. And Marvin Athapattu, Sanat Jayasuriya carrying on the good work. And Sri Lanka, I believe, something past 202 on the other side in Pakistan at the Gaddafi Stadium. They're 4 down. They were the last update on that. We'll try and keep you updated. Thank you for your company on this Sirius Alive. It's a brilliant World Cup final.
Yes, now into the 11th over, so we are pretty close to the final stages. Just 2 more overs for this pair and then 4 overs for the last pair. But a little bit of repair work to the gloves, a lot of perspiration. It's so very hot, and I'm surprised that they are batting 4 overs with 1 pair of gloves. It must be absolutely soaked at the end of it.
Well, it's also a good sign. It just shows how fit these men are and how committed they are, because you are looking at the 2 fittest sides in this indoor World Cup facility, and it's just going to be a matter of mistakes. That's what it's down to, Ranil. At this level, both teams pretty much even Steven in terms of all the departments, in the skill, the ability, the talent, the experience. I think Australia is a little bit more experienced, if anything, but on the day, it's on the day, and it's how Sri Lanka bat from now on, and how Australia will come out and try to close them down. Good bowling, 3rd ball, pressure.
Yes, the Sri Lankan opening pair, they were the ones who got them off to a superb start. The Australian opening pair got 22, the Sri Lankan openers got 40. Then the second pair, the Australians got the better of it, they got 11. The Sri Lankan pair got just the 5 runs. The third pair now in 11 runs scored so far. They run through with the single and they get it. So they avoid the 3rd ball disaster.
And very well done. Ranil, interestingly, the whole crowd, everybody's standing up for some obscure reason. It's too much pressure for them to be sat down watching this. And I dare say we might have to stand up in a little bit, because Sri Lanka, 57, 11 overs gone. Playing extremely well, playing for their team, batting well. Australia plans to outdo them and try and close Sri Lanka. Their bowling hasn't quite been up to that clinical Australian level, and I think the management know that. So that'll be a little bit of concern for the Australians.
Yes, the Sri Lankan left-armers, they bowl some very good cutters. The right-armers, they bowl good outswing. They trouble the batsmen, but the Australians haven't troubled the Sri Lankans as much.
That's it. Most of their running, most of their wickets have come from run-outs. And there you go again. That little error costing the Aussie a dear. So have a look at this.
That was very careless. That was Gursky going up in the air, but not keeping his eyes on the ball and failing to stop it. And even the president is concerned.
He's a little bit concerned, but of course, as president, he'll be happy that this World Cup has gone so successfully. Great credit, hats off to all of them. And there's Karen Denman, also a face of concern. If you could freeze on that. Contemplating exactly what Australia have to do, but unfortunately it's all about the people in the middle.
So good bowling then from Jay Otto. Roshan De Silva not too bothered about playing down dot balls, because I think he's played 2 down, Chandrashan.
That's it. Here we go. Very good ball from Otto. The big ask. Let's have a look. Sachin might have just been short. He's gone now. Where is he? He's not in the frame. Oh, yes. Yes, he's short.
Yes, the non-striker had to make the ground. 3rd ball. And the Australians staying calm there and breaking the stumps at the opportune moment. Cedric Anthony also looking very concerned. He'll be happy if Sri Lanka wins this tournament conducted here at the Austasia Indoor Cricket Stadium, which is his brainchild. He's the one responsible for this game taking place here today.
And a great day for him too, if we may say that, because visionaries sometimes take a long time and things happen after or before, or sometimes when things have all gone past. But here he is, the founder the man behind the Austrasia facility, the chairman, and introducing in one-day cricket to Sri Lanka, or international indoor cricket rather. And here he is, sitting in the stands, watching a World Cup. Brilliant achievement. Fabulous story.
Here's Robert Fitzgerald, and the first delivery very nicely played by Roshan De Silva, gets him 2 runs. It's the 12th over, the final over for this batting pair. And they've done a good job. They've put on 12 runs. Sri Lanka on 57.
Fitzgerald. And is that an ask? They're asking for it. Let's have a look at this. Bottom edge, I think, Ranil.
Yes, was a bottom edge. Where did it bounce? Did it bounce on the net and come up, or did it bounce on the ground before? We'll need another picture, and it's been given not out.
Yes, I think it came off the bottom edge of the net, but umpire decided already hit the deck. So Sachindra needs to talk to himself, compose himself, and just play out his last over. Good bowling.
Very good. Fitzgerald, possibly the best bowler in the Australian lineup. He's got some pace. It's a little bit of movement. And there it is. That one went away from the left-hander.
Very good reply from Sri Lanka on that 3rd ball requirement. So Sachindra and Hiroshan have done very well for their country. They've just stayed on course, good work rate, composed themselves and gone about their business. Oh dear.
Well, that's close, but it looked as if Hiroshan couldn't make his ground. So disappointment again for the Sri Lankans. We go to the second umpire, and here comes the bat. No, he's far, far away from the line, and so the Australians have struck back again.
That would be a very good strike for the Australians, because, you know, when you're just about finishing off, this will be psychologically important, because they will finish on top in this second or third quarter rather. And that's important because the batsmen need to hand over with a positive frame, having got some good runs, so that energy is transferred to the next pair coming in, and they come with the work and they finish well for Sri Lanka, because it's now all or nothing. This is it. This is the final chapter in this wonderful series.
And there is an appeal for a Mankat, and that's going to the second umpire. Roshan De Silva was backing up, but he wasn't going out on purpose. He was expecting the ball to release the ball. And where is the bat? Is it on the line? Well, that's going to be very close.
Oh dear. I think it might just be in, Ranil. There you go, hand comes over the top. There's the Mankad. Ooh.
Lots of shouts and cheers as the umpire says, not out. The crowd has gone wild.
The umpire is a very popular man.
Remain on 54 in the final over for this pair.
Very good bowling. Leg stump angled in. Not much room for Sachindra. Didn't move his feet. So he was trying to work it down the leg side, but didn't happen for him. Have a look at this. They could have just worked it into the corner. Very good ball again.
Well, it's going to be third ball, and which means Sachendra Gunadua has got to change over. He's got to run. Here's Fitzgerald. This has been a good over from Fitzgerald. He's been on the spot.
Excellent. And little bit of a glitch there. They were hoping for a wicket, but not to be. Well played.
commercial break as the 12th over is completed.
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රෙසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
රැඳි සැමදේ රෙසිසේ
හැමදාම අලුත්ම ෆ්‍රිජ් එකක් දිනාගන්න කීල් සොසේජ් මේනියා වෙති. කීල් සොසේජස් හෝ ඕනෑම කීල්ස් නිෂ්පාදන දවටන දෙකක් සමග නම ලිපිනය දුරකථන අංකේලා කීල්ස් ෆුඩ් ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් ලිමිටඩ් තැපැල්පෙට්ටිය 25 ජායල වෙත අදම එවන්න. හැමදාම ෆ්‍රිජ් එකක් දිනාගන්න හැමදාම කීල් සොසේජස් කන්න.
කියන්න හද වැඳිදේ මා සමගේ කියන්න
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රෙසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
It's a quick bowler. Nick Degrees, right arm over the wicket, and he's pretty sharp.
The drums take off. Welcome back. Sirius alive here at the Australia facility. Sri Lanka 58, chasing 70 in the 13th over. So it's pretty much 3 and a bit to go. All the work lining up. And everything to play for Ranil. This is it.
Yes, the 2 runs took the score on to 60. They're going to cheer every run. Patrana threw himself. The stumps came off. This is going to be a close call because he was airborne for quite a long time. There he goes. He's airborne and he's out.
Just out. So little bit of a hiccup. One stake back for Sri Lanka.
Well, what a lot of pressure the Australians have put after Sri Lanka's opening pair got 40 runs. The next pair got just 10 runs, Sean, and the third pair got 5 runs. Correction, and the third pair got 10 runs. So it's been so mightily tough.
Absolutely, and Patrana and Pushendra need to really concentrate here. This is the requirement. They need to concentrate, compose themselves, and just get about their business without panicking. They know what they have to do. They can see the runs on the board, but that must not be the focus right now. They must keep their wickets intact and just build this score up. Put the pressure back on the Aussie. Because if they try to rush and get these runs early, they're gone, Ranil. They'll be...
Yes, indeed. They've got to bat the 4 overs sensibly. There's already been 1 run out. They can't afford that to happen. They've got to play good, proper cricket shots and try and get the runs. So 2 deliveries gone without a run being scored, which means that this ball, they have to cross over.
Well, the Aussies, famed for their ability to put pressure at this level, in this manner. And this is, they're not strangers to this level, but a little bit of a mistake there, wide ball. Yeah, Degrees straying down the offside. and letting Sri Lanka off on that sense.
Yes, a lucky escape, but it all counts, all part of the game. Pressure for degrees, and he went too far outside off stump, conceded 2 runs, and the score now 58, 12 runs behind. Now the 14th over commences, and this is how Sri Lanka has gone so far. 40 runs, that was brilliant from Krisanta Pires, Tharindu Mendes, but the Australians just didn't let go, just didn't give in, and the Sri Lankan batsmen from there on have struggled. With Arna 6 times, correction there, 6 times, he was -5, Sanjeeva Jaratna got 10, and then of course even the last pair dismissed 3 times, 5 runs each to Gona Dua and Hiroshin De Silva. So this pair came together with the score on 55. They've batted 1 over and scored 3 runs. They've got 3 more overs to go, and this game getting to a tremendous finish. It's going to go all the way to the wire, Shan.
Yes, people talk about going all the way down to the wire, and this is one of those, and absolutely brilliant. You can't ask for more in a World Cup final. Matthew Brooks, ball in hand. Sri Lanka, Pathirana, job in hand. Das, World Cup at stake. Everything to play for. It's all happening. The crowd aren't sitting down anymore. They're all standing up. Everybody's standing up. And why would they sit down? I would not be able to sit down had I not been able to, had I not been told I have to do commentary. I'd be out there running somewhere on the roof.
Brooks, slower ball. And he's got him. Slower ball. It was flighted in the air. It took Soiza by surprise. And I believe it knocked the stumps.
Yes, it did. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Oh, just the rattle of the bails. So, well, he might have just got his body behind it and just worked it. He just tried to play away from it, and that's the price you pay. Let's hope he makes up for it now. Again, no movement of the feet, a swing of the bat, and the ball just goes to the back of the net. So, third ball now, or second ball rather, sorry. I'm getting myself wrapped up. Of course, we have to apologize if we don't speak correct English. We are speaking sport here. We come up with all kinds of words. Good reply. Good reply.
Well, they have to go from here. There's no getting stuck. They can't play bad shots. They can't make wrong calls. It's got to be all positive from here on if Sri Lanka are to win this match.
That's so correct. They have to play very positive cricket, but be very, very conscious of their wickets.
Well, disappointing again for Sri Lanka. Just a flick on the leg side by Asela Pathirana. Yes, it got the bat and just popped up in the air and taken by the fielder on the leg side up front. So the Australians have pushed Sri Lanka back again. They're down to 51. And well, can Pathirana and Soiza salvage something here? They've gone to -4.
Well, they have to. This is it. This is the World Cup. You come out and you have to do what is required, lads, because your country is looking for a result. And this is it. All the years, all the work, all the training, all the discipline, all the coaching, it comes down to now, right this second.
53 with that leg side wide. Brooks was disappointed because it wasn't too far away from the stumps. The umpire thought it was leg side. Here he comes now to Pathirana, slower delivery. But played by Pathirana, they get 2. That kept low, but he managed to negotiate it.
That's it. They've got to work it out. Tishendra now. Very experienced cricketers, these two. And the Australians have been here long before Sri Lanka ever did, so they've been here and seen it and done it. And they have the experience. They have the skill, they have the psychological ability to withstand this sort of pressure at this level, in this sort of final.
Here's Brooks and is that out?
No, you can tell from the bowler.
Yes. The Australians aren't letting the Sri Lankans off. The moment they get 4 or 5 runs, they come back and get that run out. So yet again, Sri Lanka slipping back.
That's it. Now that's what we were talking about. These Australians, these are the half chances that you take, and that's what will make you a champion. It's 1%ers, as we talked about earlier. It's those little things that you do correct that will make a difference to the grand total. And Sri Lanka now, Craig Slocum, harsh words, calming his side down, telling lads, listen, let's have a look at this. Let's just build this score. We've got 20 to go. We're -5. Let's get out of that first. And then so many balls, so many runs, Ranil. It's a tough ask, but I think these lads can do it if they just focus. I know it's easy to talk for us, but they need to compose themselves. You know, there's no excuse if they can't compose themselves and finish the job from there.
Yes, it's going to be a run against the grain, because in the overs between 5 and 8, Australia kept Sri Lanka down to 5 runs. In the space between 9 and 12, Australia kept Sri Lanka down to 10 runs. And now they are -5 in 2 overs that they faced. They've got 2 more to go. It's going to be a total reversal the way the game has gone so far if they are to win this match. But everything is possible in the game, outdoors or indoors.
The glorious uncertainties of cricket at any level, at any stage, in any arena, and here it is. You can't say, you can't really put your money on this. It's going to go all the way, and the unpredictability of this wonderful game, even though it may be a little bit new, so different from the outdoor game, and such a brilliant sport. And here it is, Scott Johnson. Respect.
Good delivery, slow off spin, but yet slow enough to take the batsman, but not go ahead with the shot.
Tempting, psychologically demanding. The batsman has to concentrate 1000%. Now that's what we talked about. The Australians, they know when they can close Sri Lanka down. It's just, look at that, it's just unfortunate there, but he just happened to be in the way and it just ricocheted off into the hands.
Yes, a piece of luck then, but it all counts. So the Australians very much in the game, and it's going to take something miraculous now for Sri Lanka to come back. It's captain, bowling to captain. Can Pathirana pull something out of the bag?
Skipper on skipper, reaction, down the wicket. Good reply, good response. And the Australians tell the skipper, Mills mentions to his skipper Johnson, well done, we're going to get there, let's keep going. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, scramble the run. Everybody's standing up. Sri Lankans, cricket is our religion. And here it is, the Sri Lankan women's team coming 4th in the world. Well done to them too.
Well, they need a couple of big hits now, Sean. Hit one of those Caltex boards. Not only will you get a 4, but you'll get $10. That's if you hit it along the ground. Hit it in the air on one of the Caltex boards, and you'll get 6 runs, and you'll get $20. Well, here's the chance now, Marcel Tirana.
If anything else, the least you get is a $10. The next time you get is the World Cup.
Shouting is being done by the Australians. Well, yes, they've certainly now the Sri Lankans back beyond redemption almost, as Asala Pathirana steps out, misses, and that's the Australian skipper. He's delighted. The score slips back to 42 in the 15th over, and smiles on the faces of those Sri Lankan supporters. but they too know it's almost curtains.
Yeah, very difficult, but Patharuna now needs to compose himself and try and play these last balls out and try and get back to a positive. There's nothing much they can do really from here. The Aussies are now going to close them down. It's the ability of the Australian. Here you go. Johnson just bowling regulation off breaks, varying the pace a little, pushing the ball pretty much down a middle to leg line. And Patharuna had no choice really, Ranil. He had to try and go for the biggies. So he's tried for his country. A lot of pressure.
Well, he stepped out to the wrong delivery. That was the quicker one. And so well concealed by the Australian captain, Scott Johnson. And here he comes again a quicker one. This time they're able to run one as the ball hits the top net. And what a good over it's been from the Australian captain. He's not a quick bowler, he's just a spinner. But he's shown that you can bowl spin, use your head, use your variations, and then you'll get on top.
That's it. Absolutely spot on. Scott Johnson, the Aussie skipper, tons of experience, and he's brought it at the right time. He's brought it into play. Heading out is Sri Lanka. The Shendra driving down the line. It's over. And now last over. And a lot of runs required from Sri Lanka. Very tough ask. And Craig Slocum just having a word, saying, lads, try and lose wickets as he's done before, but we just need to go for the biggies now. If we have, we'll have a go at this. But Ranil, what do you think?
Well, I reckon whether you lose by 5 or whether you lose by 35, it's the same thing. I think they have to cover the line and try and go for some biggies.
I think so too. I won't disagree with that. 17 million Sri Lankans, or percentage of them watching, but also agree with us. The Australians will disagree with us because they will be hoping to finish the job off now and put their name back on the defending champions and pick that trophy. There you go, animated crowd. There's the Aussie girls screaming and shouting in the corner. They've done so well. They are the world champions. So 1-2 for Australia.
Yes, so the last over to be bowled by one of their quicker bowlers, Alice. He bowled an over earlier on and bowled very well. In fact, almost all the bowlers have bowled well. Hardly any one of them have bowled badly. Just the Sri Lankan openers batted well.
Well, it's about individual responsibility for your job. And that's what the Aussies are so good at. That's why they actually finish on top, Ranil. It's each one performing his max according to his tailor-made requirement. They get out that so efficiently and so clinically. You don't realize, but they do get their job done with great efficiency. And as a team, when the little things are happening for each one, the big things automatically fall in place.
Yeah, Sri Lankans were able to do it only halfway, not all the way, but then you have to say that the Australians didn't let them do it.
Well, Sri Lanka will have a lot to take from this World Cup, Ranil. Some of these players won't be there the next time round, some of them, but they have performed very well considering everything. All credit to their management. Not able to finish the job as expected, so they're going to come second very likely. And another big ask.
Yes, Tusendra Soiza didn't show much keenness in trying to make his ground. Well, it's going to be close because he didn't really stretch out. And, well, he's on the crease, and that's going to be a tough call.
The Aussie girls in the corner start up, Matilda, or something like that. I can't quite pick it up. And another wicket. So Sri Lanka.
Well, that was slack, Chandrashan. That was slack. You shouldn't give in until the last ball is bowled. You make it a leg side one, get a couple of extra balls, because in the last over you do get an extra ball for as a penalty, so you can't just drop your head. And Sandra Soiza, well, that wasn't good enough. It's a final, it's a big match.
Absolutely, it's a World Cup final, and that might be just the edge and professionalism that these Australians bring to this game. And that's the little slack to Shendra, a very casual finish there. They should have finished hard. We know that they're not going to come first here, but at least they should have run hard and finished off. You know, and the pressure must be all the way to the end. They must use this as World Cup as a good example of performance. The Australians have outperformed us, Ranil, and that's the simple fact of it.
Well, it looks like the Sri Lankans have given up, and I suppose that is the case. There was a lot of excitement earlier on. It looked like Sri Lanka was well poised to win this, but not the case, and that is the end. The Australians have won this World Cup. They've done it yet again for the 6th successive time. They have proved that they are the best team in indoor cricket around the world. Not too many countries played, but another sterling performance from them.
Australia, Hutch Indoor World Cricket Champions 2004. You can hear the screams and shouts. The Sri Lankan crowd is hushed. But great performance, great of a performance, if you say that, by the Sri Lankan team. They played out their skins to start with, but the Australians were just too good, as the women proved early this morning. Men have come out and outplayed Sri Lanka. It's all about clinical work, the departments that Australia get right, runner. They just got it right at the required time, and they just did their job.
Yes, the Sri Lankan players acknowledging the support of the fans. They've been behind them right through this World Cup tournament. They've come here now today, but obviously disappointed. No question about it. The players also very disappointed, because at one stage they seemed to have the game wrapped up, or at least they had a great chance of scoring the 70 runs that the Australians made. But in the end, they have will go in for a commercial break. After it will be the presentation.
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. Hutch GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
රැඳි සැමදේ රිසිසේ.
ඉස්සර අපි ස්කෝල් යනකොට පොත් ටික ගියේ ගංගේ.
ඕන් එහෙනම් නවාතියෙම මුලපිරු. යෝධ බල හයියකට හොල් නැති කුහර නැති කොන්ක්‍රීට් එකක්. ඕකනේ මම හොල්සිම් කට්ටියගේ හොල්සිම් සුපිරිම ගෙන්නුවේ.
හොල්සිම්නේ ආයිබෝන් ඉරහඳවා විශ්වාසයි.
මේ වැඩකට අපේම දෙයක්.
අදයි අපේ පාලම විවෘත කරන දවස.
හොල්සිම් සුපිරි කොන්ක්‍රීට් එකටමයි අනගී.
කියන්න හද වැඳිදේ මා සමගේ. කියන්න
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. Hutch GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
ඉස්සර අපි ස්කෝල් යනකොට පොත් ටික ගියේ ගංගේ.
ඕන් එහෙනම් නවාවිත්‍යම මුලපිරු. යෝධ බල හයියකට හොල් නැති කුහර නැති කොන්ක්‍රීට් එකක්. ඕකනේ හොල්සිම් කට්ටියගේ හොල්සිම් සුපිරිම ගෙන්නුයි.
හොල්සිම්නේ ආයිබෝන් ඉරහඳ වාගේ විශ්වාසයි.
අපේ වැඩකට අපේම.
අදයි අපේ පාලම විවෘත කරන දවස.
හොල්සිම් සුපිරි කොන්ක්‍රීට් එකටමයි අනගි.
කියන්න හද වැඳි දේ මා සමගේ කියන්න
හිතේ ඇතිදේ හිතේ හැටියට කියන්න. හච් GSM කියන්න රිසිසේ හද රැඳි සැමදේ.
කියන්න රැඳි සැමදේ රිසිසේ.
Okay, so that's the Sri Lankans went. They got off to a tremendous start, 40 runs put on between and Tarindo Mendes. But from there on, they caved in the second wicket pair of Putarna and Jarat there, faring miserably, 45 runs. Then they went up to 55. They were still ready because they had only 15 runs. But from that point, the last pair of Captain Asela Patirana, who was out 5 times, and Tusendra Soiza really couldn't catch up the Australian bowling, and the fielding was excellent. So finally Sri Lanka making 48 as opposed to Australia 70, and the Australians have won this World Cup, the Indo World Cup, the 6th one and the 6th consecutive time that the Australians have won, and congratulations to them, John.
Absolutely a formidable Australian effort. Sri Lanka, well, to be commended, but on the day Australia managed to outplay Sri Lanka, and that's very much the story. You see that on your screens. 70 was the total. Sri Lanka restricted them as we thought, but Australia had other plans, and that was it for the World Champions. Australia, the men and the women, showing the world that they are the leaders. They invented the game, and they have managed to annex the trophy again. So congratulations for us. Thank you very much for your company at home. Hope you enjoyed the pictures going around Sri Lanka. We'll now hand you over to Brian Thomas, who has done a phenomenal job to take you home and to the all-important presentation ceremony.
Chandushan Perera, thank you very much indeed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for coming in for the presentation ceremony. Let me first and foremost congratulate Australia for a super performance. They've played their hearts out, and they proved that they are world champions. So, Scott Johnson and your boys, congratulations from all of us. Having said that, I think Sri Lanka gave a super display. They came into cricket only recently, but played with the best in the world, and I'm sure the Aussies will take back memories as they were given such a big care. Asela Patirana, I know you can't win everything, but you can walk back to your dressing room and back to your hotel with your head in the air, because you have done a wonderful job with your team. Right, let me first and foremost introduce our presentation ceremony. It's my pleasure and privilege in welcoming Deputy Minister of Sports, Mr. Sripati Srirachi. The gentleman next to him needs no introduction. Give him a round of applause. Mr. Arjun Ranatunga, former captain of Sri Lanka, won the World Cup in 1996, and is now Deputy Minister of Tourism. A round of applause for the gentleman next to him, Mr. Alinda. What can we do with him? The chairman of SIA, and who is also the Deputy Minister of this government. And Mr. Salindra, let's give him a round of applause and welcome him. The gentleman next to him is Mr. Cedric Anthony, the man who brought cricket to Sri Lanka, currently the chairman of Australia, and he's also the vice president of the World Cricket Federation. Please give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And we now welcome our title sponsor, the Chief Executive Officer of Hutch, and he is Mr. Thirunadrasa. What can we all do without sponsors? Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a round of applause. Now I'd like to introduce to you a gentleman who really encouraged his boss to give the title sponsor. He's a great lover of Indo cricket. In fact, he was the most valuable player in the Masters tournament. Wonderful person to meet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome La Santa Pereira. And last but not the least, it's my pleasure and privilege in welcoming another great sponsor. Well, I see you more often than not in most of the sport fields. And Sanjeeva Kararatne from Singa, Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, let me first invite the losing captain, Asela Pathirana, to please come forward. Please, Asela, if you don't mind, come and have a few words with us. I know it's been quite a tough game, but you can with your heads because you guys have played excellent cricket. But somewhere on the line, there was a turning point, and what was it?
I think, first of all, I must congratulate the Australian cricket team, Indo cricket team, well done boys, for a good show. And I think the last pair of the game, we came through. I mean, had a really first pair and third pair, but unfortunately, the fourth pair let us were really down. But anyway, I must thank all the crowd here. Thank you very much, and sponsors, coach, and team members. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you very much indeed, Asela. Get back and enjoy yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, it's in inviting the winning captain, Scott Johnson. Scott, if you could please come over and have a few words. We've got an excellent game. In fact, it almost got away from you. At what moment did you ever think you're not going to take the glittering trophy back to Australia?
I would have to be honest and say there was one stage after the first pick they came out pretty strong, but I mean, to the guys' credit, we stuck to our game plan and we just never gave in and reaped the reward.
You played Indo cricket not only in the world arena but also in Australia, where it all started from, Scott. And from your viewpoint, how do you rate Sri Lanka's standards?
They're incredible guys. They're very talented, excellent fielders. To have indoor cricket in your country for only 3 or 4 years and to be runners-up in the World Cup is quite important. So 3 years on, they'll be definitely a team to beat.
One final question. You've been in Sri Lanka and, well, for the last, I must say, about 8 days. How have you enjoyed yourself and your view about the World Cup?
It's been excellently run. Sri Lanka's an awesome country, and I know the boys hit the shots pretty hard, so they've done well.
Thank you very much indeed, Scott. Thanks for talking to us. Right, ladies and gentlemen, now let's get our hands together. The winning team, the Indo cricket for the year 2005, Australia. The trophy hand over by Mr. Salinda Disanayake, Minister, and Mr. Sri Surirachi, 2 ministers, to Mr. Brunad Rasa, who in turn will hand over this wonderful trophy to Scott Johnson, captain of Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get our hands together and give the Aussies a round of applause. Performance, a professional performance, a performance that we will cherish in the many years to come. Scott, I'm sure you can. That is the glittering trophy. And can we have the other team around, please? Let's see if I can lift a huge trophy by himself. I think we've got to give him a hand. There you are. Hands. Congratulations from this team here. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, please, there you are, as the trophy goes up. Right, ladies and gentlemen, finally, as a dedication to Australia, they won the World Cup, to their magnificent players and also people back in Australia who have prayed for them, who have cheered when they've gone through a lot of hard work to win this trophy. Let's all stand in attention and now celebrate the Australian national anthem, the World Cup winners. 1.5. On behalf of the organizers, special word of thanks to all the officials, especially the umpires, who put in a lot of hard work, Australia management and staff, and Shapley, my good friend, who's done the coordination. And let me take this opportunity of wishing all the visiting teams a safe journey home. And we sincerely hope you enjoyed our stay here in Lanka. And from me and my crew, this is Brian Thomas signing off and wishing all of you a very pleasant evening. Thank you and goodbye.